mindset problems of a 42-year-old business owner. Today, I want to share some of those mental challenges, some of those mindset blocks that I've overcome with clients now from over 32 countries over the years. I've had a lot of clients over the years, and currently have, who are business owners, who are either retired from running businesses or who currently are running their business. And oftentimes they are divorced, they have children already, or they're not divorced, but they still have children already. They're in similar situations, or at least they want to have children. They're dating with the intent to find the right woman for marriage, or at least for a long-term relationship, whether you want to get the state involved in that agreement or not. One of the first ones is to understand that you can date almost any age you want to date as long as it's legal, but what makes sense is usually 26 upwards. Why is that? Well, our brain, men as well as women's brains, are fully formed after the age of 26. Up until then, our brain isn't even fully developed. And usually around that time, she's gotten some work experience as well. So she realized what it's like to contribute value to society, to have a structured day-to-day, which will also make her appreciate the financial resources that you'll be able to offer a lot more. Because when they're just in university, they have no idea what it actually means to be a functioning member of society. We all didn't, right? When we went to university, we thought, well, life is going to go on like that forever. And eventually you realize, oh, I have to present myself in an industrious manner. I have to structure myself. I have to take care of habits. There's so many things I got to take care of. And then they get a taste of it, which in turn strengthens their appreciation for it once you'll be able to provide it. So that's one. But a lot of my clients, they weren't even sure that they could. Let's say you're a 42-year-old business owner, like one of my clients. He wasn't even sure that he was able to date somebody that age. Would they even want me? Would women even, or 26, 29, 30, even want to date somebody who's 12, 15 years their senior? And the truth is, absolutely, not all women. Some women don't. Some women very much want to date within their own age range. But there are still rather large percentages of women who are completely open-minded to the idea of dating older men. It's really, truly so. And you have to understand, and this is going to sound terrible, but men age like wine and women age like milk. Now, not all. There are some women who have an unbelievable set of genetics and who take great care of themselves. They age amazingly. That is true. But on average, time is a little bit in our favor as men. That's not to say that you can't date older women. Absolutely not. I'm not making that case at all. I'm not saying older women are less desirable, but just purely physically speaking, well, that's obviously true. Now, if we as men take care of ourselves, and most of my clients, they are in good shape, they have taken care of themselves over the years, they're into fitness, rock climbing, CrossFit, if you're one of them nerds. And I have no problem with people doing CrossFit. The only issue, actually, a lot of my clients do CrossFit. The only problem that I have with it is that everybody gets injured after a while. Not everybody, but the percentage of people who get injured and they screw up their backs is so large. You guys can't even do a pull-up. You can't even do a proper pull-up. You're doing the silliest things. Sorry that I go off on this rant for a second, but if you're at all involved in CrossFit, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I have a lot of respect for the physical feats and the workouts because I think they're amazing workouts. But your pull-ups are the most hilarious thing I've seen in the whole world, right? CrossFit pull-ups are ridiculous. Now, it's not to say that you're not, that I don't have appreciation for what goes into the rest. Absolutely, as I said before, I do. But pull-ups are ridiculous. Just like a little side note here. I'm teasing my clients who do pull-ups a lot over the years. But anyway, you've taken care of your appearance physically, probably a lot. And so you're actually a lot more desirable now than when you were 25. What you don't understand is if you're a man who's 42 years of age, around that 40, 45, 50, 38, who cares? You're actually a lot more desirable than when you were 25. And that is not just because you have more resources available to yourself. Really not. But women like a man with experience. And even if you don't have that much experience, they're going to assume that you do. And this is not to say that you should lie about it, but some women, they just want to date older men. Some women in their early 20s. Some women who are 25, 26, 27. And usually, going as low as 21 probably won't make sense for you with most women because they're just not mature enough. But 25, usually 26, 27 onwards, that's usually a good age range. And it is absolutely possible. So the first mindset problem that I would encourage you to just drop right here, right now, to set your mind in a different way, mindset, is to understand that, yeah, plenty of women love dating older men, and it's actually a lot easier. Going out, if you go to bars, now I encourage my clients to not drink alcohol whatsoever or consume any other type of stuff, because you really don't need it. Once you learn how to approach in an effective and respectful manner, once you learn storytelling, once you learn to communicate effectively, once you learn how to build a man-to-woman connection and actually communicate your personality in an entertaining fashion without necessarily being an entertainer, just by being authentic, you won't need any of that. Now, if you don't like going to bars and clubs, the clubs are completely different, by the way. So I shouldn't even be grouping them together, because bars are one thing, clubs are completely different. If you're somebody who says, I don't like going to bars, even on online dating apps, it's a lot easier these days, because these days, I mean, for you these days, being a 42-year-old business owner or somebody who falls into that category, because women will pre-select for somebody in your position. The right target audience will pre-select for somebody in your position. So that's the first thing. Now, let's look at a couple of technicalities, a couple of technical mistakes that I've seen these clients make over the years. One is to have their entire Instagrams full of children photos. And children are amazing, and I'm a huge fan of children. Watch me at any family gathering, there's a child, I'm going to ignore all adults and immediately sit on the floor with the child and play games with them for 7 minutes until they get bored and then they wander off. So I love children, absolutely. I have a daughter myself with my ex-wife. But you have to understand that Instagram is not a photo album. The only purpose of Instagram is either business, a personal brand, maybe you want to make videos the way I do, or it's dating. It is not a photo album, okay? You can have, absolutely, if you want to share your photos of your children. If you don't, completely respect that, absolutely. People have different approaches to how they want to parent in that regard, and everything is fine, whatever you want to do. But if you want to share them, not too many, because remember, the woman wants you as a man primarily, not for the role of the father. If she wants to have more children, and if you want to have more children as well. But a lot of my clients, they don't necessarily want to have more children. They want somebody who either doesn't want children, and if you do, that's also fine. But regardless, 1 or 2 pictures of your children, max on your Instagram. Same with your dating profiles. Yes, you can have 1 picture there with them, but if it becomes too much, then she is going to wonder, is he just going to be all consumed with his children? And obviously, they're going to take up a large part of your life, and that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do, and you should be proud of yourself for that. But for her, you're primarily in the role of the lover, the partner. And so you need to communicate that accordingly, okay? So when you're on a date with her, yes, talk about the kids, but don't talk about them too much, okay? These are just a couple of technical difficulties. What are some other mindset problems that 42-year-old business owners have? Well, another big one is logical and concise communication. I talk about it at length, but especially for you, it's true. To get to the position where you're at, you had to develop the ability of strategic thinking, of quite logical and concise reasoning. And that is a prerequisite for being able to succeed in any professional environment. And especially if you have meetings with partners or vendors or employees, you learned that time is of the essence and that you're really monitoring what comes out of your mouth quite closely. And while that is an absolute asset that you've developed over the years, the skill, in the professional context, it is a hindrance. It's messing you up in your dating and your relationship life, because women do not want a logical exchange of information. She never gets to the date. She's never there for you to just transmit information. And you have to understand, we as men, especially if we got some shit done in our career or business, we pride ourselves, or we just tell things in a quite coherent manner. So first I went to the gym, then I had a smoothie, then I went home, blah, 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 blah. We talk about a very sequential elements, a sequential set of events. That's how we present information oftentimes. Whereas women, for them to feel emotionally engaged, they have to be emotional spikes. They go into the details. They talk about how they have felt and what was happening. And storytelling is really something that's oftentimes overlooked. And what I'd encourage you to do is, that's something that I help my clients with, apply for a free initial consultation call if you want my help with that. Look at storytelling. It's really something beautiful. Now, where I'm different to a lot of these pickup artists is I'm not here to talk bad about anybody by name. I really won't. I really have a lot of love for everybody who wants to help men in this area. But where I'm different is I'm not going to give you this routine, try this routine. I'm going to give you a story, tell this story to this lady, and it's always going to work. That's complete nonsense. But what I help my clients with is we look at the stories of your life, how you created your business, dating stories, family stories, adventure stories, and we're going to write them in an effective manner so that they trigger the right types of emotions. And this is not manipulative bullshit, but you can tell the same story in an extraordinarily exciting fashion or in a super duper boring way. And so that's where authenticity goes into effectiveness. And once you develop the skill set of spiking emotions, you will see reactions from women you've never thought possible. And then you got to keep in mind also that you need to build a degree of man-to-woman connection. You really need to make sure that verbally as well as non-verbally, you respectfully create a degree of intimacy, because she won't do that for you. 19 out of 20 women won't do that for you. You have to assume the role of the leader, which is actually interesting, because being the leader in a relationship, you're already doing that in your business life, but being the leader in a relationship does not mean telling her what to do. And this is actually interesting. This is something that I have seen with people who run businesses where they're used to being in the position of a boss for a long time. First, you're not a leader enough, okay? You don't even speak up at all. You're hardly masculine. And then sometimes they overcompensate, where they start treating people in their lives as employees. And this is really interesting, because if you're in the position of being the boss all day, and I mean, people suck your balls all the time, right? Like, that's kind of what it is. Even if you wouldn't want to call it that, even if you don't want to abuse your power, fine. But you're used to treating people as employees, and you treat them respectfully. If you're an amazing person, fine. But this is not what's appropriate in a dating or relationship environment. Leadership in a relationship, and I'm going to make a longer video about this at some point, really just means saying let's. In a relationship, obviously this goes a lot deeper, but leadership in a relationship means let's go to the cinema, let's do this, let's do that. And then if she has any issue with that, no problem, then negotiate on eye level. And that's the big difference, because in a relationship, you're on eye level, an intimate relationship. At work with your employees, you're not on eye level. You are above them. Not in terms of a person, but in terms of your status, absolutely. You get to make the final decision. You ask for their input, but in the end, you get to decide what's up. And they know that. So it is not a eye-level relationship. As much as you study leadership, servant leadership, all of that, you know and they know that you're the boss, that you're going to be the one who makes the final decision. So the dynamics are very different. So what I've seen with men is once they become more masculine, in the beginning you're not masculine enough, you can't even communicate your needs, you can't polarize, you can't disagree, all of that. You can't even just communicate your intent, right? With a degree of passion, in a respectful way, but passionate. But then they overcompensate, and then they start replicating work habits in a dating environment, like treating them as employees, which doesn't really work. Because if you want to have a relationship on eye level, you can't be upset that she disagrees. Because the best women, they're going to challenge you. Now, and my clients, they usually want a woman who challenges them intellectually, but what you have to understand is you don't want a woman who overdoes it. Because there are some women who are going to challenge you on every little thing all the time, and that's just a manifestation of insecurity, and you don't want that. But Fernanda absolutely challenges me on things. If I have a stupid idea, she tells me. She tells me that in a very calm and loving manner, but she absolutely calls me out on that, which is amazing, because she makes me aware of blind spots. And that's how it's supposed to go. So you have to be aware. Now, obviously, this goes a lot deeper, and there's a lot more mindset problems that people who run businesses, who are settled in their life to a large extent, have. If you want me to help you with that personally, just apply for a free initial consultation, girl. This is an absolute passion of mine that I have, and it's really cool because there's nothing wrong with you, right? If you want to find the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife, and you may have been a bit frustrated with online dating, in-person dates, or whatever, look, these are all challenges people have overcome. There's nothing about your situation that's special. Now, you are special in terms of who you are as a man and the gifts you can share with this world. I truly, truly believe that. But your problems are not special. Every problem you have, be that online dating, man-to-woman connection, not meeting the right types of women, women lose their interest in you, whatever you want, they've all been solved before. All right? They're not special. If you want my help, let me help you with that. Because keep in mind, right? Like, yeah, coaching costs money, but how much more time do you want to waste? Can you figure this out by yourself? Yeah. Invest the next 7 years, 20, 25 hours a week. then you'll be able to do this by yourself. Or let's shortcut it. Looking forward to speaking with you. Take care.